I feel you there, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually the next thing that we were going to talk about. So it was perfect segue. But Baker Mayfield, I think personally, like you said, there's a couple ways that this could go. It could go where he's traded straight up, which doesn't seem likely as of now because it kind of seems like that would have happened already. Or he's cut, or they keep him because Deshaun Watson could be suspended, likely will be suspended. And they need a starting quarterback for them a couple of games, especially if they think they're going to be a playoff team. But I
Right.
just think that if I'm Baker, as I've said before on the podcast, if I'm Baker, I won't play. I just refuse. I would just refuse to play. You can find me. I don't care. Because at that point, he's just like, I mean, I guess he could play if that's up to him, but personally, I wouldn't do it. I would force them to cut me because there are teams that will sign him to start now, right now, and they want him to be their quarterback. That's the difference. He's the type that wants to feel wanted. You know what I mean? Um,
So like here's the situation, right? Is that if of what you said is true, right? Everything you said is true, then why hasn't a team come out and say we'll give you a sixth or a seventh? Sixth or a seventh doesn't mean much.
right.
Just get out, like get him through the door. Like, why are they waiting for him to get released
Two
so that
reasons.
other teams can potentially get him?
Right. Well, three reasons I think personally right now. Seattle is the only team that wants him to start right now. Um,
I keep hearing Pittsburgh. I don't know if
nope, it's not happening.
it's not
It's not
happening.
happening.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. And from what I've heard, that's just not. I actually have it in my notes. Steelers unlikely, just because of the fact that everything that I've heard, they're not trading him there, and it
Oh
seems
yeah.
it seems right now that the Steelers feel content, with going with Trubisky and maybe a rookie. I feel like maybe Jimmy Garoppolo could be a possibility, but for the asking price, I don't know if they go for him. But I just don't see Baker going to Pittsburgh. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I just don't see it. Like I said, in my opinion, I don't see it, and from everything I've heard, it seems very unlikely as of right now. But like I said, I think Seattle is the only team that really wants him to start, because they're one of the only teams that is still needing an upgrade at quarterback right now that can't get Jimmy Garoppolo because of the division. The 49ers wouldn't trade him to Seattle because they'd have to play him twice a year. Um,
Yeah. Well, like everything that they've been saying is that it seems like Drew Lock is the guy. So unless if
uh,
that's like hosh posh and
it
they
is.
are definitely saying that just because that's who they have currently, then like potentially, but I don't know. It seems like everyone there is saying Drew Lock, we trust in this
Yeah.
guy. So
I think
I
they're
don't
just
know.
covering their own ass at this point because I think they're saying that because they just traded Russell Wilson, a guy that didn't want to be there clearly, and got Drew Lock in the trade. So they're kind of saying, "Oh, we feel comfortable rolling with Drew Lock now, and that's fine." But if that was the case, would they have outwardly expressed interest in Baker Mayfield? I don't think so because personally, if you even think Drew Lock is like a startable quarterback, like you feel okay with him being your starter week one, I think you just go with that because your team's not very good anyway. You know what I mean?
So like, has this interest been Seattle Seahawks driven or has it been media driven?
Good
Because there's
point.
a difference.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know for sure which one is which. But from what I've heard, it sounds like it's from Seattle, but it could just be people misconstruing or misinterpreting things. Um, but I don't know. I feel like they're saying, we want Drew Lock or we're okay with Drew Lock just because they have to in case they can't go get another guy because they can't
Yeah.
get Jimmy G. And their guy might be gone by their ninth overall pick this year. But I feel like what's gonna happen ultimately is Baker Mayfield. Oh, here's another thing that I was gonna say. I feel like another reason why teams aren't trading for Baker is his contract. Because if you trade a
Yeah.
sixth round pick right now for Baker, you're giving up a sixth round pick that could be a couple years rookie, contributor, in any point is okay. You're taking on $19 million of cap space. So most teams don't even have that cap space right now anyway. Pittsburgh definitely doesn't. And I think that's a big reason why I've been hearing they're not really interested, because they just can't really take on all that cap right now without, moving some stuff around. But well, they could, but I mean, for him, you don't really want to. Jimmy G, you could, because he's worth it. But I think that's why another reason why teams are letting him go to free agency, because they're looking to get him on a Mitch Trubisky type contract, 2 years, 14, 15 million. They don't want to have to give him a lot of money and give up assets for him. And honestly, I don't think the teams want him bad enough to give up the assets to where if he signs somewhere else, they'll be like, all right, that's something that didn't happen. They're like, that's okay. It didn't happen, but I do think he ends up in Seattle as a free agent. And I think he signs a 2-year deal for similar money to Trubisky did.
So I have a follow-up question, and this is about Seattle. And just popped in my head, and it's probably super unrealistic. So